We're going to turn now to that big news about Steve Jobs. The man who changed the way so many of us experience movies, music, and media stepped down as CEO late yesterday from the company he founded, Apple Inc. He comes at the height of Apple's success and raises new questions about the company's future. ABC's Neil Karlinski has covered this remarkable man and his company for years, and he's live in Los Angeles with more this morning. And Neil, we all knew that Jobs had been battling cancer for years, but the resignation still has the feel of a shock.
It sure does, George, and you're right, that's even though we all knew this day was likely coming sooner or later. But after all, Steve Jobs is not your average CEO. From the iPhone to the iPad, he has changed our lives in so many ways. And this morning, he's no longer at the head of Apple, the company he founded and turned into one of the most successful ever.
He is the man who almost single-handedly changed the way we communicate, entertain ourselves, and why, for just about everything, there's an app for that. The famously reclusive billionaire lets his work do the talking, but you can get a sense of him in a rare interview he gave us the day he unveiled the first iPhone in 2007.
Are you worried that you reach a point where there isn't another killer piece of hardware to come out with to wow the world?
You know, again, we don't worry about stuff like that. We just try to build products that we think are really wonderful and that people might want. And sometimes we're right and sometimes we're wrong. But I think we're going to hit a grand slam with this.
Even if you're not a fan of Steve Jobs and Apple, consider this. One of the most influential innovators on the planet for the last 100 years just resigned.
The news was pretty shocking. I didn't expect that this was going to come today. It came out of nowhere.
In a letter to Apple's board of directors, Jobs wrote, "I have always said if there ever came a day when I could no longer meet my duties and expectations as Apple's CEO, I would be the first to let you know. Unfortunately, that day has come." He beat a rare form of pancreatic cancer in 2004, came back, then started to lose weight, appearing shockingly thin right up to a top-secret liver transplant in 2009. But unlike most companies, Steve Jobs defines Apple, which he rules with an iron will, a demand for perfection and innovation. His replacement, Apple's chief operating officer Tim Cook, has filled in for Jobs before with great success. But brilliant as he is, just about every analyst on the planet will tell you he's no Steve Jobs.
Everybody you talk to at Apple is going to tell you Steve Jobs is one guy, but the truth is that Steve Jobs is a notorious micromanager. He is most of the reason that Apple is what it is today.
Jobs will remain as chairman of the board. Still, the company is likely to get hammered today on Wall Street. Even so, it's important to note this is a company that plans way out into the future, and so the next iPhone, the iPhone 5, and many other new products and innovations are already in the pipeline, George.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. We saw you talked about the new CEO, Tim Cook, and he is well prepared for the job. But how deep is that preparation, and is the company really geared up for the future?
They will tell you they are absolutely geared up for the future, that Steve Jobs has surrounded himself with brilliant people. Jonathan Ives, who does designs, Tim Cook, who's been running the company essentially on and off while Jobs has been out. He's very experienced. He's Jobs' favorite guy. He's brilliant. They feel like they can keep the momentum going, even without Steve Jobs there day to day.
But as you said, Steve Jobs defines Apple. Okay, Neil Karlinski, thanks very much.